Welcome to Homeless Minecraft. Now, what is Homeless Minecraft? Well, that's a good question, and we will get to that. But first, please stay for as long as you can. I know this might not be your preferred video, or maybe it is, we'll find out. But my family needs help. We've made a GoFundMe page, and I really need your support. So if you can stay as long as you can, like, comment, share, that would be great. And to help pay you back a bit, here I've created this world in my creative mode world with this very unique name. And I want to share it with you while I tell part of our story. So to start off with, I have this sort of train station here. So I gotta go plop and ride. So here we go. So to start off with, I've got a family of 9. I have 7 kids and a wife, and we have had some hard times and, sob story, whatever you want to call it. But, we are originally from Utah. We lived in Florida for a time, but ultimately decided to move back because, this is where so much good stuff for families are. And unfortunately, when we moved back to Utah, just things didn't work out as well as we wanted. And part of that was that, we thought, oh, we'll move back, we'll get a job, we'll find a place to live, and things will be great. But things were not nearly as smooth as we were hoping. It was a lot harder to find a job than expected. I have an accounting degree. I have over 4 years of accounting experience and even a master's degree in management, and that hasn't been enough. Now, I did take a break from employment for a while to help my wife. She had some health issues, but also we were trying some self-employment ventures, which didn't work out. So we're kind of came back to the drawing board again to try regular employment again. And it just has been very rough. And so far, I've put out so many applications and just nothing so far. But I do have some good hopes that I'm going to be getting something soon. Now, that first little area we saw there is this cute little town on this little island, with this little train station. We're now going to go along over here. There's a mountainside where I built in kind of a cool ancient sort of ruins, which I think you'll enjoy. So yeah, we moved back to Utah, and it was really hard to find work. I eventually found a job, but it was in manufacturing, and then another one later on in production, which was great and all, but ultimately not the best option for us. Partially the production, it was a food production company, and really it was great. See, here's the ruins of Kachoa, the ancient villagers of the Stone Age. So the company was great, and the people were really good to work with. It was a tough schedule, and it was a really unfortunate experience where there was some really bad communication. So I got the job through a temp agency, kind of temp to hire, with this promise of being able to stay on, or be hired on with the company. And that was really exciting for us. But it got a little hard where it was a third shift, so that's the middle of the night. And with 7 kids, that's really hard for my wife. And so we wanted to possibly make it a better schedule by moving to more of a day shift. And what I didn't know was going to happen, because again, my manager didn't tell me, is that I was going to be put on a completely different crew, different job, a different responsibility, so I wasn't even doing the same type of work. And I knew the pay was going to go down, but with it also, I was being moved to the production work, which was going to be a lot harder and just ultimately much worse for the family, even though we were trying to make things better. Okay, we're going to move that way now. So anyway, long story short, I lost the job because I couldn't be put back on my old schedule, and yeah, and they blame me for it because I should have known better. And yeah, how should I have known better if I wasn't told? But, that's what you get. So, ultimately, though, I got the job and stuff, and things were good, but it was hard to find a house. And we had family that was able to help us get a house, but to stay in, it was only a 7-month lease. And again, during that time is when I lost the job the second time, or this more recent time, and it was very frustrating. But now here we are, the lease is over in 6 days. By the time you are watching this, it might be only 5. And we, that's real tough. I don't have a job. I'm trying really hard to find one. We don't have almost any money, really. And here's another train station. And we don't have any family that can help. They are all tapped out, not willing to help, not able to help. I'm sure most people are going to say, oh, well, just get a job. And, oh, you have family, right? And, oh, there's churches and community resources. Okay, so, again, I told you about the job where I can't find one right now. I'm trying very hard. I think it's close, but it's a little, it's too late at this point. And family can't help. They are either unwilling or just non-responsive, and we don't, they can't help. And churches, I've tried, and they're saying no. And now for community resources. There are some different community resource foundations, groups that are able to help, but most of them have a 2 to 4 year wait list. So you have to know that you're going to be homeless for that long. I am on one of those lists, but I still, I've been on the list for 9 months, so I still have way too long till we are even considered. The only other group that we have, they have requirements, which, makes sense, but the requirements are I need to have a job, that I also need to have a lease, or at least an unsigned lease, so that they can help pay for the deposit and the first month. Otherwise, it'd be a reimbursement. And the job needs to be able to support the remaining part of the lease. So I need to be making enough an hour for a 4 or 5 bedroom house, and it needs to be long term. Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to make the payments, and therefore they won't approve the help. And again, once I have the job and the unsigned lease, they won't be able to even look at it until that point, and then it'll be 3 weeks to look it over and then decide whether or not they approve. So there's still the chance that they will not be able to help me, even though I fit all the rest of the criteria, and this is a really tough spot for us. And so at this point, I feel like I'm very close to having the job. Here, these are kind of enclosed bridge-like things I've made. I don't like monsters, and so in all of my survival worlds, I know this is a creative world, but in all of my survival worlds, I often make stuff like this because I am afraid in Minecraft. So this is kind of my take of one in a creative world. So anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. We don't know, how things are going to pan out. We don't have, man, I keep getting lost in these things. So yeah, we need to have the funds to get us through this hump. I feel like the job's very close, but I currently can't get a lease. I currently I can't get a down pay, or I can't get the deposit. I can't pay monthly. I don't have the job. We don't have enough funds. We don't have any family, community, or religious support. There's a cool temple pyramid-like thing I made. I thought it was kind of fun, especially with the glass bridge. And then out here you have this cool skyscraper. I'll show you some more over here. So that's where we have this GoFundMe page, and we're hoping that anyone can donate as much as they can, and to share and comment and all that stuff to get it moving, to get as many people to see it as possible, and to get as much money in. And that with that, hopefully we will be able to get over this hump. My daughter helped make this room. I made this big office building, but I didn't fill it in at all because, well, I was making the shell. I was having fun with the shell, and that was about it. And anyway, so that's what we're asking for, is for help to get us through this, to get us over this hump, and that with that we'll be able to get into a place, get stability, the job will come, we'll finally have things back in place to where we can survive on our own. And that's really the hope that anyone has, and certainly for us, that we don't want to be in this situation anymore. We want to have the comforts of a home and the employment and money that we need without asking for help. We don't want to be on food stamps. We don't want to be, having assisted living. Not in that sense, but we don't want to have community support for our living. But that's where we are right now, and I want to be able to buy my kids new things, not just all the used stuff and all the Goodwills and DIs and stuff. I want to be able to go on vacation with my kids. We haven't been on a real vacation in a very long time. And, I'm ashamed of where we're at, and I'm determined to get things turned around. But for that, we need to get over this hump. And I don't know how to do it any other way right now. I've tried a lot of things, but anyway, that is where we're at. This is my mall inside of a mountainside. Got bathrooms, because of course you need bathrooms, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, and hope you can understand and appreciate where we're coming from and what we need, and that you'll be able to give and share as much as you can. Really, if enough people give just a little bit, like $10, if enough people give $10, then that will pay for what we need. But I also want to express just how big of a problem that we have here, the housing crisis here in Utah, that there's a 2 to 4 year wait list that people have to go through, and even then, is it guaranteed? No. And how can you, why would that be there? How can anyone live through that, with this unknown, and especially when you have kids, what do you tell them? So anyway, I really hope that you've enjoyed my world here and enjoyed my story, and that you can please share and help us get in a place where we can be a good, happy family again, because that's, what everyone deserves to have. So if you want to see more of my world, please let me know. Again, share, comment, like, subscribe, whatever platform it's on. And yeah, so thank you again, and enjoy the rest of this little minecart thing I have here. Just around this little hole, and we are done. Thank you.